everybody. In this part, we will discuss regarding production function, both short-run production function and long-run production function, fixed factor and variable factor, total product, marginal product and average product. These concepts we will cover today in this part 2. Okay. First, production function. What is production function? The technical or functional relationship in between physical inputs and physical output is known as production function. What is production function? It is the technical relationship or the functional relationship in between physical inputs and physical output. It is the relationship between physical inputs and physical output. So, the relationship between physical inputs and physical output is defined as production function. It is defined as the functional relationship between quantity of goods produced. Quantity of goods produced means that is output, and factors of production, they are inputs. So, it is the functional relationship between the quantity of goods produced and factors of production used to produce the given quantity of a commodity. In other words, production function refers to physical relationship between inputs and output under given technology. Suppose for 30 units of capital and 10 units of labor is required to produce 100 units of a commodity. Here you got 30 units of capital and 10 units of labor. Capital and labor, what are they? They are the inputs, they are the factors of production. And these factors of production are required to produce 100 units of a commodity. Then 30 units of capital and 10 units of labor is known as physical inputs. They are the physical inputs, and the total product, that is 100 units of the commodity, that is the physical output, right? So, production is a function of inputs. If you want to increase total production, the quantity of production, then you have to increase the inputs or the quantity of factors of production, right? So, the technical relationship in between the physical inputs and physical output, that is known as production function. Remember it. So, now we will come to the types of production function. Production functions are classified under two types, two heads. They are short-run production function and long-run production function. Okay. Then we will go to what is short-run production function. First, production function can be mathematically expressed as, what is production function and how it can be mathematically expressed. We have already discussed that one, a fixed quantity of labor and fixed quantity of capital is required to produce a fixed output. Then the relationship between inputs and output is known as production function. But to mathematically represent it, we have written here Qx is equal to function of L and K, where Qx is the quantity produced of X. Qx means quantity produced of X. F shows the functional relationship in between inputs and output. L, units of labor, and K is the units of capital. So here, for simplicity, we have taken only two factors of production, they are labor and capital, and by using the fixed unit of labor and capital, what will be produced, that is shown in this case. Okay, in production function, inputs are independent variables. You see, output is dependent on inputs. So, inputs are independent variable. When we vary, we change the size of inputs. Suppose we increase the size of inputs, the amount of output will increase. So, which one is dependent and which one is independent factor? Inputs are independent variables, whereas output is dependent variable. The state of technology remaining unchanged. Output changes with a change in inputs. So, we have taken here the state of technology to be constant, to be unchanged. After that, if we change the amount of inputs or if we increase the amount of inputs, automatically there will be an increase in the output. Okay. Now we will discuss what is short run production function and what is long run production function. First, what is short run production function? Short run refers to an operational time period in which the output of a farm can be varied by changing only the variable factors like labor, raw materials, fuel, etc. You see, within a short period, we cannot change all the factors of production. We cannot change the size of machines or capitals. We cannot change the size of building. Right? So, here we can change to increase the production or to increase the output. We can change only some factors like labor, raw materials, fuel, etc. And they are known as variable factors. So, within a short period, to increase the production, we can increase the size of variable factors. What are variable factors? They are labor, raw materials, fuel, etc. So within a short period, the size of fixed factors like factory building, machinery, equipment, etc. cannot be changed. We cannot change the size of building. We cannot change the size of machines. We cannot change the capitals. Okay, within a short period, in order to bring about a change in output, right? Now, the functional relationship that exists in between inputs and output in a short run is called short run production function. What is short run production function? It is the functional relationship in between the physical inputs and the physical output in a short run, right? Output changes only due to a change in variable factor and not the fixed factor. In a short run, in order to change the output, we can change only the size of variable factors, right? And fixed factors they remain constant, right? Let labor and capital, labor indicated by L and capital denoted by K be the two factors of production. Let labor and capital are the two factors of production. In the short run, K remains fixed. K means what? K means capital. You cannot change the size of capital, I have told you in the short run. Production can be increased only by increasing the size of labor. So, in order to increase production in a short run, we can increase only the size of labor, size of L, and not that of K or capital. From the following functional relationship, see below is given a functional relationship. It can be well understood with this relationship. 100x, that means what? X is the product. 100 units of X is produced with 10 units of labor and 10 units of capital. Right? It is functionally expressed as 100x is equal to f of 10L and 10K, right? Then 150 units of X is produced with 15 units of labor and 10 units of capital. Mark here, the quantity of capital or the size of capital here remains constant at 10 units, right? In order to increase, why it is remain constant? Because it is a short run, it is a short period. Within a short period, within a short run, we cannot increase the size of capital. All the factors of production cannot be varied, cannot be changed in a short run in order to change the output, right? So, you mark here, only by increasing the size of labor from 10 units to 15 units, the total production increased from 100 units to 150 units, right? See here, it is written below. Here K is a constant at 10 units. K is constant at 10 units. Production has been increased from 100x to 150x only due to an increase in the size of labor L from 10 units to 15 units, right? The ratio of L and K changes here. L and K changes here. In the short run, production function exhibits the law of variable proportion. In the short run, as all the factors of production cannot be changed, some factors can only be changed, some remaining constant. though the proportion in between those factors, labor and capital, they changes, right? So in a short run, the law of variable proportion exhibits, right? Now we will go to long run production function. What is long run production function? Long run refers to an operational time period in which the output of a firm can be varied by changing all the factors of production. See here, long run means what? It is a long period. Long period means there is enough time to change the size of all the factors of production in a long period, right? So long run refers to an operational time period in which the output of a firm can be varied by changing all the factors of production, right? The size of labor can be increased, the size of capital can be increased, right? The functional relationship that exists between inputs and output in the long run is known as long run production function. So what is long run production function? It is the functional relationship that exists between inputs and output in the long run, right? In the long run, all factors are variable. I told you, long run means it is the time enough, there is enough time to change the size of all the factors of production in a long run. So in the long run, all the factors are variable. Let labor and capital be two factors of production. Labor means L, capital K. In the long run, both are variable. We know it. Production can be increased by increasing both the factors. The production or total production can be changed by changing all the factors of production in the long run. The functional relationship in between inputs and output in the long run is stated here. You see 100x, that means 100 units of x can be produced by using 15 units of labor and 10 units of capital, right? It is written here 100x is function of 15L and 10K, right? Now come to the second equation. 200x is a function of 30L plus 20K, 20 capital. That means 200 units of x can be produced by using 30 units of labor and 20 units of capital. You see, in order to produce 100 units of x, how much labor and capital are used? 15 units of capital, 15 units of labor and 10 units of capital, 15L plus 10K. Now, in order to double the production, to increase the production by 2 times, you see the size of labor and capital are also increased by 2 times. So, in the long run, we can increase, we can change, we can vary the size of all the factors of production in order to increase the size of output, the amount of production, right? From the above functional relationship, it is seen that 15 units of L plus 10 units of K produces 100 units of X, whereas 30 units of L plus 20 units of K produces 200 units of X. So in the long run, production function is subject to law of returns to scale. In the long run, production function is subject to law of returns to scale. In the short run, production function is subject to law of variable proportions, right? Because in the short run, the proportion between different factors changes. So the law of variable proportion exhibits in the short run, but in the long run, it is subject to law of returns to scale, right? So this is the difference between short run production function and long run production function. We know in the short run, only some factors can be changed, but other factors remain constant in order to change the size of output. But in the long run, all the factors can be changed because there is enough time in order to change the amount of output, right? Now we will go to fixed factor and variable factor. What are fixed factors? What are variable factors? Why it is known as fixed factor? Why it is known as variable factor? You see, fixed factors. Fixed factors are those factors of production which cannot be changed during a short period. Remember it. Fixed factors are those factors of production which cannot be changed during a short period. For example, factory building, machines, plant, equipment, permanent employees, etc. In a short period, in order to change the production, in order to change the amount of production or amount of output, we cannot change some factors. They remain constant, they remain fixed. That's why that is known as fixed factor. They are known as fixed factors. Here it is given: factory building, machines, plant, equipment, permanent employees. Their size we cannot change in a short period. So those factors of production which cannot be changed during a short period, they are known as fixed factors. Remember it. They are not directly related to level of production during short period, since their volume remains fixed whether the level of output more or less or zero. Whatever the production, whatever may be the size of production, it may be increased, it may be reduced, or it may be zero. Even in case of zero production, the entrepreneur has to, or the producer has to bear this cost, right? The cost of fixed factors, because they are always fixed, right? Such factors, however, can be changed in the long run, in the long period, as and when desired. So fixed factors, you know, fixed factors means what? Those factors of production whose size cannot be changed in order to change the production. In order to increase the production, their size cannot be changed. They remain constant, they remain fixed, their size remain fixed. Whatever may be the production, it may be more, it may be less, it may be zero, right? So that is fixed factor. Now we will come to variable factors, right? What are variable factors? Variable factors are those factors of production which can be varied or changed during a short period, right? Mark it. Variable factors are those factors of production which can be varied or changed during a short period. Example: raw materials, labor, fuel, power, electricity, etc. Right? In a short period, in order to increase production, in order to increase output, some factors can be changed. The size of some factors can be increased, and they are known as variable factors. Their size can be varied or changed in order to increase or change the production, right? Raw materials, labor, work. When we want to increase our production, we have to use more and more of raw materials, we have to use more and more of labor, we have to use more and more of power, fuel, etc., right? So they are known as variable factors. They directly vary with the level of output. If you increase the production level, then their size will have to be increased. If you reduce the total output or production, then their size have to be reduced. And if you will not produce anything else, if the total production will be zero, no variable factor is required, right? More of such factors are required for more output, less for less output, and zero for nil output. Mark it, remember it. More of such factors are required. Such factors means what? Variable factors. Raw materials, labor, fuel, power, transport, electricity, right? More of these factors are required for more output. If you want to increase output, more of such factors are required. If you want to reduce the output, less of these factors are required. If we want nil output, zero output, then zero quantity of these factors of production are required, right? Remember it. The distinction between fixed factors and variable factors disappears in the long run, okay? Because then all the factors, both fixed and variable factors can be changed according to the requirement. Thus, the distinction between fixed and variable factors has relevance only in short period. Okay. So, in the long run, there is no fixed factor, there is no variable factor, all are variable. On the basis of requirement, you can change their size. If you want to increase production in the long run, you can increase the size of all the factors of production, all the factors become variable factors. So, the distinction between fixed and variable factors has relevance only in the short period, right? So, that is all about fixed factors and variable factors. Now, we will go to total, average and marginal product. What is total product, what is average product and what is marginal product? First, come to total product, TP. Total product is the total amount of goods and services produced in a specified period of time by all factor units, all factor inputs. Right. What is TP or what is total product? It is the total amount of goods and services produced in a specified period of time, in a fixed period of time, by all the factor inputs, by all the factors of production. By using all the factors of production in a fixed time, the amount of total production, total amount of production is known as total product. In the short run, total product increases with the increase of variable factors like labor, raw materials, etc. If we want to increase total product in a short run, how we can increase it? How total product in a short run can be increased? Only by increasing the size of variable factors, right? So thus, total product is function of V. That means total product is a function of variable factor. Total product in a short run depends on the quantity of variable factor, the size of variable factor. Yes, it is written here. TP is function of V, where TP is total product and F denotes the functional relationship and V is the quantity of variable factor. Total product changes with a change in variable factor in the short run. Total product is also known as total physical product. You can say it TPP. TP means total product, it is known as total physical product. Total product can also be defined in the context of marginal product or MP and average product or FP. Right. Now, we will go to the mathematical notation of total product. Right. TP is here, see here, TP is sum total of marginal products. Right. When we add all the marginal products, when we take the sum total of marginal products, it will give us total product. TP is summation MP, it is written here. But in the context of average product, TP is the average product multiplied by number of units of factors employed, or TP is AP into V, AP multiplied by V. Here V refers to number of variable factors. When we multiply the number of variable factors with the average product, we will get total product. Right? When we multiply the number of variable factors with average product, then we will get total product. But when we take the sum total of marginal products, we will get total product. Right? So that is all about total product. Now we will come to average product. What is AP? It is per unit product of the variable factor. What is total? What is average product? It is per unit product of the variable factor. It is obtained by dividing the total product by the total number of units of the variable factor. For example, labor is a variable factor. So, symbolically, average product or AP is equal to TP by V. That means total product divided by the number of units of the variable factor. Right. Here an example is given, mark it. If total product of 10 units of variable factor, say labor, if total products of 10 units of labor is 50 quintals. So what is average product for labor? What is average product? 50 by 10, that is 5 quintals, right? So we know that average product is the per unit product of the variable factor, and it is calculated by dividing the total product by the number of units of the variable factor. Now we will go to marginal product. What is marginal product and how to calculate MP or marginal product. You see, it is an addition to the total product when an additional unit of variable factor is employed. What is marginal product? It is the additional to total product when an additional unit of the variable factor is employed, right? Marginal product measures extra output for extra unit of input, holding all other inputs fixed, keeping all other inputs fixed. When we change only one input, then how much output changes, how much total product changes, that is marginal product. If by employing 10 laborers, total product is 100 units, but by employing 11 laborers, total product becomes 108 units, 108, 108 units, right? Then marginal product of 11th laborer is 108 minus 100, that is 8 units. Symbolically, MPN is equal to TPN minus TPN minus 1. That means marginal product of nth unit of labor is equal to total product of nth unit of labor minus total product of n minus 1 unit of labor. Mark in the example we have given already one example. By using 10 laborers, total product becomes 100 units, but by employing 11th laborer, total product becomes 100 units, 108 units. So here 108 minus 100 units, 11th unit TPN minus TPN minus 1 means 10th unit labor, 100 units. Okay, so 108 units minus 100 units, that is 8 units, that is the marginal product of 11th unit of labor in this case. So we can also write it as marginal product is change in total product by change in variable factor, or MP is a change in total product due to change in variable factor. The relationship among TP, AP and MP is represented in the following table. You can see their relationship from the following table. So we have already, okay, come to the table, mark here in this table, mark here, total product, marginal product and average product. For example, it is taken in quintals. You see in the first column we have taken labor, in the second column total product, in the third column MPL, that means marginal product of laborer, and in the fourth column APL, that means average product of laborer. You see, labor is a variable factor, right? I have told you. So when we use 0 unit of labor, then total product becomes 0, marginal product of labor becomes 0, and average product of labor is also 0. But when we use 1 laborer in the production process, then what is total product? It gives rise to 5 quintals. Okay, 5. Then marginal product? What is marginal product? 5. And average product is also 5. Right. But when we use the second unit of labor, we add another laborer to the production process, then total product increases to 12 quintals or 12 units you can say. So what is marginal product? 12 minus 5. How much? By increasing one more unit of labor, how much production increases? 7 units. So marginal product of labor is 7. And what is average product? Average product, how to calculate average product? Total product by laborer. TP is 12 by 2, that is 6. Average product of labor is 6. Right. Now, by using the third unit of labor, total product becomes 22. Okay, 22 quintals you can say. So marginal product is how much? What is marginal product? What is the increase in total product by increasing the amount of labor from second unit to third unit? it increases by 10 quintals. So marginal product is 22 minus 12, that is 10. What is average product? 7.33. How it derives? 7.33. TP by unit of labor, 22 by 3. It comes around 7.33. Now, by using the fourth unit of labor, total product increases to 30 units or 30 quintals, and marginal product of labor, how much? 30 minus 22, that is 8, and average product is equal to 30 by 4, that is 7.5. Now, by using the fifth unit of labor, the total product increases to 36 quintals. And what is the marginal product of labor? By adding one laborer, what is this product? 36 minus 30, that is 6 units. Then, what is the average product? 36 by 5, it comes to 7.2. Now, by further increasing the amount of labor to 6 unit, by using or engaging the 6th unit of the labor in the production process, the total product increases to 40 units. What is the marginal product of the 6th labor? 40 minus 36, that is 4 units or 4 quintals, you say. What is the average product of labor? 40 by 6, that comes to 6.6 approximately. Right? So this is how we can calculate total product, average product, and marginal product. And so from this table and from the discussion today, we have come to know the regarding production function and short run and long run production function, then what are fixed factors, what are variable factors, then the relationship between total product, marginal product, and average product. So thank you. We will meet in our third part, and we will discuss regarding the loss associated with the short run production function and long run production function. Thank you.